Alright, so today's video is about spiritual prison. What is spiritual prison? That is a real thing. When you know too much and don't know nothing at all, it puts you in a prison, a mental prison. And there is an actual place in the galaxy where we tend to go in our minds when we're in a spiritual prison. We're not quite sure if the things that we are seeing, feeling, hearing is accurate. We tend to put ourselves on a spiral until we learn to create a galaxy out of those spirals. You can, the devil's spiral, you can create anything out of it. You don't have to keep yourself in a spiritual prison. So, spiritual prison to me is something I took on for a long time because I was underneath spells of narcissistic people. And then I started to take on their traits, their habits too, by absorbing them. But really, I was supposed to just watch their behavior, not become them, or not to take on any habits or form. But their spirit be so demonic, it be so powerful to the point where you didn't realize for a long time you was underneath their spell. So I have lots of experience dealing with narcissists. I learned how to escape. I learned how to be an scapegoat, and I'm still escaping. I've been running since I was 20 years old. Maybe before a little bit when I could, like 17. But I was still in school. I was trying to get away from the abuse from these low vibrational beings because they tend to feed off of your energy when you're in a vulnerable state. I notice every time I'm in a panic mode with them and I'm crying hysterically and threatening myself to them, they thrive off of that shit. They give you that smirk. Like, I like to see you suffer because they are suffering too. And I always tell people this: misery loves company. You don't have to be the misery that loves the company. You can change your thoughts within a flash. If you think those bad thoughts you are getting they're not your own. There are demonic spirits. And half of the world I can feel have demonic spirits with them. And half of the other side of the world are ascending and angelic-like. But then behind closed doors, those angelic beings are locked away. Like, if you've seen those videos going around on TikTok or YouTube where the angels are in a cave, those are actually real angels. That's what we are. That's another part of us locked away. And the only way to break the spell or to break away from spiritual prison is to realize you're in prison. Is to realize you've been held hostage. They can take away your time. They took a lot of my time, and it's time that I could never get back because I've been in a cycle of abuse for 10 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. Because even from my family to my friends to my co-workers, they tend to like to abuse a chosen one, to abuse a light bringer. They like to abuse that light. They like to keep that light from themselves. They're like an insect. They like those little bugs who like the light and like to go up to it. But let them come to you. Because have you not noticed that every time a narcissist come up to you, they tend to actually spill their truth to you? And you think that other spirits around you, just because you can't quite see them, but you can feel them a little, but you're not sure what it is that you're quite feeling because you're not trying to be in tune with the other world just quite yet. You're trying to still stay here so you can fight. They are listening. Don't when the shit like that happens, when they try to manipulate you, gaslight you, monitoring you, do the same back. That's what I started to do. I don't never do what they do onto me to hurt me, but I started to pay attention to them. I started to pay attention to their lifestyle while they're so fucking miserable. And this is coming from a 28-year-old who looked like a 16-year-old. And I have to keep constantly reminding them that they're not above God. They're not above us. Only God can have authority above us. Only divine, only us can have authority over us. They think that we're the weakest one in the link, but really the loudest one in the room is the weakest one and it's the most intimidated. So do what they do unto you. And if you want revenge, I completely understand why you want to get revenge. Trust me, I'm getting my licks back every fucking day by speaking the truth. And you can use the hell out of them to get rid of them until they figure out your game. Until they figure out that what they're doing is not right too. But there's always a third options when it comes to them. And then when it comes to being in spiritual prison. When you're in spiritual prison, learn all it is that you know and report back once you get out. Start speaking your truth once you learn to get out. Spiritual prison is fucking real. And it's all of this shit has to do with a fucking narcissist putting you underneath a spell. Taking your destiny. Trying to mold your life into their image. They trying to play God, but they can't play God. They don't know what God's spirit is because they don't have spirits themselves. They only have demonic spirits. And demonic spirits don't even like them either. And I talk to most of them. I talk to the ones below us. They're okay. I can talk to the dead. I've always been talking to the dead. I can see visions from people paying why they act the way they act, talk the way they talk. It's because of trauma. I know what trauma smells like from a mile away. Whether my trauma is small to certain people, but it's large to me because it made a big impact on me. If it wasn't for my trauma, I would not be up here today speaking my truth. I would not be able to understand that I can escape these people. They're not even people. They have people body. Like, they look like us, but they're not us. I don't know what they are. They're not NPCs either. They're very empty on the inside. They feel very heavy. Like something is weighing on them. And that weighing is that fucking pain. And I attract pain. And I can attract people who are in sorrow. But I didn't understand why I can attract the lower vibrations and never the higher vibrational people. Sometimes I can. It depends. If I'm in a higher vibrational state, I'll attract high vibrational people. If I'm in a lower, I'll attract lower people. If I'm like right in between, it's like both sides are coming to me all at once. And that's where I got that idea of a dark and light empath. And then I realized when we do that, we make a symbol of cross. And that's a symbol of death. Or crucifying something, learning to fix something. Like when I speak about like Jesus or like God, I'm saying them as in a reflection of you, what you can do with that energy, that teaching that they had taught, you know. It's very weird what spiritual prison can do to you. When you're in spiritual prison, you don't eat, you don't sleep. You don't take care of yourself. You don't shit regularly. You don't do all the normal mundanes. Because it's like your mind is stuck in a particular time, a particular loop. So is the narcissist. So is the demonic, lower vibrational beings. They're stuck in a loop. It's like we are in hell. It's like they're torturing us on the earth while they live out to be heavenly and get everything from the divine. I always ask myself, like, why does God let these people walk? Why do they get to walk freely, but we get to suffer in silence? But even when we speak up and do the right thing by God or by these divine beings, we don't see a blessing in return. But the blessing is we survive. That is the blessing, is that we survive and that we escape. That's why I like the term scapegoat, because you really can fucking escape anything from the minds. If you don't want to run, you don't have to run. If you want to stay in one place because you know one place is giving you stability, but other people is trying to have you a hard time not have stability, this is what you should do. I'm telling you, monitor them, because they're going to monitor you. They're going to check your fucking pockets, see how much money you got, see how much money you bringing home, see how much I can take from you. What more can I take from you? How can I take advantage of you? And do the same. Take advantage of them, but kill them with kindness. And then the more they realize how stupid they act towards you, that's when they're going to have their enlightenment, their little ding, a bell will pop off. And I'm waiting for that fucking moment, and I'll be like, I fucking told you so, you fucking narcissist bitch. I fucking told you so. You can't mess with a chosen one. You really can't. If a chosen one tears drop, all hell breaks loose. I'm starting to not reflect as them, but I am getting back at them for little shit that they done unto me. I had the cops calling me. Shit, my mom wanted me to go to a mental prison, like one of those mental silent home, trying to tell me, oh, you can be there for a year, you'll get a check. And this was at the age of 22, 23. And they're still trying to put me there, but I ran the fuck away, so how could they? They can't. And they know I'm civil. And they know, just because I know spiritual, just because I'm closer to God than they are, they try to get rid of who is closer to God. I be wondering, like, when I go into my family household, I'm like, why do they not have crosses? Like, if they so claim to be Christian, I see Bibles, but I don't see nobody reading them. I don't never see nobody try to make a church out of their own home. But I try to do it in my own room, and then every time I did it, I will be called weird for believing something outside of me that I cannot see. I can see with my mind eye, and I can feel with the six senses. I was being bullied, like, all the time for knowing weird shit. And now, all of a sudden, everybody likes when I talk about it. Oh, why do you like it now? See, that's how I know they be fucking monitoring me. Like, even on my social media, I know some of them are, like, gang stalking the fuck out of me. Gang stalking never goes away. The only way you can truly stand up to a gang stalker if you call them out. Be like, hey, you're not doing that shit? No. You're not taking from me anymore. Gang stalking is real. Gang stalking is a never-ending thing. You don't know who is watching you. You can always feel when somebody is watching you, even when you are alone. Some people are astral projecting to you. Some people are using their clairvoyance to watch what you do, so they can come out with these like tarot cards videos and make you feel like something bad is going to happen. I'm into tarot reading. I like it. I do it myself, but I never try to do it to where I want somebody to be in fear. And they need to know the truth. And fear is a good thing because fear can get shit done, or anger can get shit done. Because once you're scared of something, you tend to become angry about it for being scared of it until you learn how to face it. And I always say they can monitor your thoughts too, through devices as well. Like if you have headphones in, the waves from the electronic, the frequency, they can pick up on it. When you're on a phone call, somebody else is always listening behind it. Once that phone call is picked up, whether it's a spirit or a physical person. I had my fair share of gang stalking and being in prison, spiritual prison. But now they're taking away those who actually know some shit. They want to put them in a real prison. And y'all know who I'm talking about. It's that dude that became popular because of spirituality. But now, I don't know what the situation was, but I just know that it was not his time for that. They hate masculine, divine men. They hate a divine feminine. They're going to try their best to get rid of us. And if we don't start coming together as a collective and seeing the bigger picture and tapping into ourselves, we're not going to go anywhere. Nothing's not going to move. It's going to stay where it's at for a long time. It's going to stay there. Until we learn how to fight. Learn to love chaos. Learn to love darkness. Because darkness and chaos can be your only friend. When it comes to any type of situation, it can help you gain some knowledge, some wisdom. But don't be stuck in limbo. Don't be stuck in La La Land. I was there for a long time. And there was some things I saw in there. But I'm going to say that to another video. Like visions I have over the years. Because I used to write down a lot of my visions. Every time I would move, I would have to throw away all my stuff. Like any type of knowledge that I came across. Because I was afraid that what I knew was fucking dangerous. But then until I started seeing more people come up here talking about their experience, their spirituality, it kind of made me, I don't know, something in me clicked and saying, hey, start speaking your truth. Because I'm tired of losing myself day to day, not speaking my truth. But then I don't want to be annoying either or saying the same shit. I got a lot of topics. That's why I'm asking y'all on my posts and stuff, like, what type of topics do y'all want me to talk about? Because I can talk about anything and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I might do it live to talk about the visions that I had over the years. But when I was in spiritual prison, I was at the desert land. I was at the land where... Okay, here's how it happened. At first, I was just floating up in space, like in a box, for a very long time. And then throughout each decade or throughout each year, I started to move. I started to get closer and closer to Earth. But then, as soon as I got closer to Earth, my body just froze there. And I was there for a minute. And then after that, I kind of flew down, like how the story of Lucifer, how he fell down and landed somewhere. I landed at a desert. I had wings at that time, but I cut them off as soon as I had got to the tree. And when I had got to that tree, which that's when Odin and then and Hecate, that's when they all came to me, because I was there by myself, roaming around in the desert. And then when I found the tree, I was still isolated. I was waiting for them, and then they had came. And then that's when the whole tree dream, the whole tree vision came about. I have other videos of me explaining how I got connected with Odin and Hecate and all these other gods and goddesses. Just check them out. But yeah, that was my mental prison for a long time. That's where the state I was in for a long time, inside that world. But at the same time, I was still able to be in the earth world and still do earthly, mundane things, while my mind was like somewhere else, locked up. I don't know what clicked in me to wake the fuck up that day. It felt like a deja vu experience. Or like, it was a wave of energy. It was like air. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was like a cold ass air. And it woke me the fuck up. And I was like, what? I remember I was working somewhere, and then I was thinking of random things, and that one particular thought had woke me up. I can't quite remember what it was, but I know it was after my stepdad had passed. My stepdad had passed around 2016. So I also I started to see him a lot. His figure, his spirit. And I remember always being in the living room. And this was in a new house that I've been in. And this was like the first 2 years that I was living there with my mom. I would see affirmations of our ancestors. I would normally see my dad first, my stepdad. I call him my father because he raised me. So rest in peace. But yeah, I will always see him by the window, just looking, mysteriously wondering about something. And then I used to hear men around the house whistling. Remind you, these are spirits. And then there was a little boy that would always come around me, like playing peekaboo or hide and go seek. He had like a red, orange shirt on with short hair. He looked Mexican because sometimes I can see their skin. I can see a full-on affirmation sometimes. And then in the yard, there's an Indian man, like a full-on Indian man, like Native American men. He used to like just watch the house by the creek, just standing there, watching. And then I started to see this other shadow figure with a hoodie on. It had like a cloth hoodie on. He kind of looked like the Grim Reaper, but not really. He didn't have the arc of the Grim Reaper, you know, the little stake thing that he carries. He just looked like him. And then I could see its bones. I could see the details of the cloth. Like it was in a spiral, and it had flowers in it. And he will always pop in and out of the house. And I'm starting to realize this entity or deity used to follow me throughout my whole entire life. And I'm realizing this is like a mentor spirit. But then it had another darker part of it where it was teaching me bad magic. it was teaching me about magic. It was teaching me about light and dark magic. Because I remember being young, or being younger, I was into magic heavily. Creating spells, learning spells, but I never drawn to the dark side. I never really put hexes on anybody unless I needed to. Unless somebody messing with somebody else, yes, I would do that. But now it's like I'm working with light magic. I'm learning to protect those who can't protect themselves because of witchcraft. I flipped the switch. And I'm okay with both sides of me. The dark and light magic of me, because I'm a magical being. And I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be cocky. I am. We all are. And yeah, so I started to do that. I started to tap in to protect instead of destroy, because there was a lot of weird shit happening to me during this time. And I couldn't quite understand. I still don't fucking understand why certain things are happening to me now. Because I was ignored all my life. Like, why all of a sudden now is the time? I'm like, okay, I guess. I'll take it. It's better than nothing because it's a blessing. I'll take it. Spiritual prison is no joke. It keeps you on a loop. It doesn't get you to your timeline. It sets you back in an old timeline that you don't need to be in. And the only way to actually escape the spiritual prison is to be aware that you are in a prison, that you are in hell. And then, that pain don't feel like it's torturing you no more. That pain is actually enlightening you. And when you don't get that heaviness feeling in your heart from suffering, or that panic feeling, you know that you have won. But it will always come back around, that same feeling, so you can keep teaching. Sometimes you gotta love the pain. And you gotta love the person that gave you that pain, that spark. Learn to use them for a teaching. Don't keep running like I did. And then I'm running again, but I'm like, I'm tired of running. I'm tired of always looking for a knight shining armor to save me, which I used to do a lot. And then I'm starting to realize people start to pick up on it. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I do now? And that's when I said, just speak your truth. You don't have to run no more. You don't have to need somebody. You don't have to need a man to order to live. I would like to have a family one day, yes. But I'm going to wait till Eros or anybody or any other divine being bless me with the right family, the right men I need to be with at the right particular time. Because I'm not giving up another 10 years to somebody who is not even on a spiritual level. Or not even on any level, but a first D or first dimensional level thinking. I need a like-minded individual like me. And I doubt myself sometimes, but people tell me I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, this and that, the third, but I don't feel like it on the inside because I let so much pain strip me away from my identity. I don't even truly know who and what I am. I know what I'm capable of doing and what I can do, but the title can always come last. The titles will never come first. I gotta be about something to believe in order to gain a title that I can create for myself. And then that's when I came up the idea I can be Ishtar, because I'm a love goddess and a war goddess. But I'm not really I'm not considering myself above God. I'm right with God. I'm trying to create something new. And I hope that this can help people someday, help anybody. I don't want nobody to get lost anymore. I don't want us chosen ones to get lost anymore. It's okay to feel like you're a god at first. But even though I judge myself saying why do I not believe myself just yet? I'm sorry, I don't. Because my peers showed me they don't believe in me. Every time I'm working on something or doing something good, I know it's good. I know I need the approval from myself. But sometimes it's okay to want approval from your peers, especially the people who had hurt you and put you in that mental prison or spiritual prison in the first place. Yeah, I want my fucking praise and glory, but I'm learning to let that shit go. I'm learning to realize I don't need nobody approval but my own. The spiritual prison, the spiritual warfare is a fucking blessing, but this pain is a blessing. It does not hurt. You see how I tried to change my thoughts, saying I don't want it, but I said the total opposite. I was like, oh, there goes a bad thought, because that was not my fucking bad thought. Start shadow work. Do your journaling. Write down your bad thoughts. Keep that shit in a safe place where nobody can touch your shit. Where nobody else can astral project and read over you. Protect yourself at all costs. Because a lot of these spiritual gurus are using our pain to tell their own story, but then at the same time making money off of us because I don't know. It's hard to explain that because I see both sides. I see the good and the bad, but then they're not really trying to tell the truth. They are, but not fully the truth. They still trying to keep people in their own loop so they can be seen and heard. It's weird how I see this community. I see the good and bad in it. We're not supposed to turn on each other when one rises. We're not supposed to let one fall. We're supposed to let them keep going. But at the same time, it's up to that person to keep going when they fall. Every time something bad happens to me, I keep fucking going. I don't never stop. I might stop for a minute to analyze some shit and then come back, but I never stop. We never stop. We're not weak. But until then, I'll see y'all in the next video. Love and light.